So it's here, Oblivion Remastered. We're all very excited, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah, woo. And as an long-term Oblivion player, I'm very excited. I am ModularCocoon, and I'm here with a bunch of my friends. We've got
Shaska.
Oh, Modsetti.
And Pickysaurus.
We're obviously here to talk about our first impressions, talk about what the community thinks about the very exciting Oblivion Remastered, what kind of mods we think are going to be coming out for it, what we'd like to see, and what mods are already here. Let's kick it off with our first impressions. Modsetti, what did you think?
So, I've never played Oblivion before, so I'm a great person to start with. But I have played Skyrim, of course, and I played a little bit of Oblivion Remastered last night. Now, my first impressions were, of course, the prison section is very long. That was my very, very first thought. But looks-wise, it looks fantastic. The Patrick Stewart monologue at the beginning is,
Iconic.
Still brings up those feels. So, yeah, I was well impressed. I was really enjoying myself.
Good. And anyone else? Anyone else been playing it?
I've been playing it.
Yeah, go for it.
I
What do you
put
think?
sort of 4 or 5 hours into it last night. Was up very late, still playing it. I think it's really good. I think I played Oblivion back in the day, but it's been a really long time since I did. And even when I played Oblivion, it was already sort of showing its sort of janky side and wasn't looking so good for me as a kid because I was thinking, I played Skyrim. Skyrim looked really cool, and now this looks bad.
Oh, did you play Oblivion after playing Skyrim, did you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I see.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
played... Oblivion was my first Elder Scrolls game. Still playing it now. Still modding it now. I think it looks all right. I think it looks like how you imagine Oblivion looked like when you were that age and you're remembering back
Yeah.
on it.
When we still had an imagination.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the case with lots of old games, is that you remember it much better than it actually is.
Having now kind of looked at them side by side a bit more, having played a lot of original Oblivion and then having played a little bit of the remaster now as well, the remaster is excellent. It's a really nice jumping off point for a lot of new people. Effectively, for most people who have not played Oblivion, they just got a brand new Elder Scrolls game, which is really
Yeah.
cool. Like if you've never played it, if you've just played Skyrim, or if you're a younger fan, or you just never got around to playing Oblivion, yesterday or the day before, from whenever this comes out, you just got a new Elder Scrolls game, which is really, really cool. If you have played Oblivion though, I do think it's a tiny bit soulless. But I think that's probably the kind of boomer in me talking about how you obviously mentioned that it's janky. Like Oblivion is janky. It's very known for being janky, and I think that I'm sure that Picky, you agree with this with Skyrim. The jank kind of makes it special in many ways.
Yeah, the jank is a key part of the character of a Bethesda RPG, really. I would say that in the run-up to the reveal trailer, we had a very cool little watch party going on our Discord, and there was lots of interesting discussions there. I actually did point out you should go and look at some screenshots from vanilla Oblivion, because your rose-tinted glasses will make you think that's how it always looked, especially those of us who've had big mod lists.
Yeah.
And you've probably not seen original Oblivion in quite a long time.
The remaster does look. I mean, it looks beautiful. The only thing that I did have an issue with was that how kind of the saturation wasn't quite right. But we've already seen a mod that fixes that and brings back the original lighting, which is really great. And I think just brings back the color. It was missing a bit of the kind of original bloom and color that it had. But you're completely right. I've played it with so many mods that I don't really remember what it looks like. That's probably the same for a lot of people who, if they made yet another Skyrim remastered and they were like, well, this doesn't look right. It's like, well, you haven't played Skyrim vanilla in however long, because you can't even get it on Steam anymore. Yeah.
Right.
The other thing that they've changed from what I've seen is that they have removed some of the kind of uniqueness of each biome, which I'd like to see brought back as well. I think that they've kind of flattened it all in the sense of it's all beautiful grassland, but there is something special about being, well, this is beautiful grassland with some orange leaves, and this is beautiful grassland with green leaves.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see those it's such a minute change. It's not something that anyone needs to really worry about. But isn't that what modding is all about? Changing the things that no one ever really asked to be changed.
Talking about things that, well, I don't know if people have asked for this to be changed. One of the first things I did when I was dressing up my character is try and put on the Amulet of Kings, but you can't do it. It says it slips off multiple times. So there is already a mod out that makes it wearable, which is great.
That's great.
I mean, it flies in the face of the story, but it's great.
Oh, does it?
Well, sort of, yeah.
What if, in my headcanon, I was my Dragonborn from Skyrim and I wanted to wear
You
that
should be
amulet?
playing Sky Oblivion then, really, should
Yeah. Obviously, we're just chatting about it here, but all of the viewers are seeing this beautiful gameplay.
Yep.
What else are they seeing in this kind of modded Oblivion Remastered.
Right now, they're looking at some banners flowing in the wind. Oh, this is a thing, actually. I've got to point this out. If you played a load of Skyrim modded and you use a mod like Sky King Signs, which we all know and love, the signs blow in the wind, but they don't blow in the wind in the Oblivion Remaster. So if someone could make a mod for that, that'd be cool. Because it's weird that the flags blow in the wind, but the signs don't flow in the wind.
Maybe wind's not as strong in Cyrodiil. In Skyrim, it's like whipping away and it's knocking all those signs around. But in Cyrodiil, it's just like, well, it's just a gentle breeze, which would blow a flag, but not a sign.
Maybe that's it.
There's law reasons, actually. Bethesda were thinking about it really. They went to the law Bible and they checked, and they were like, wind speeds only.
Well, they're just really heavy signs.
Yeah, really, really heavy signs made of steel.
One thing I was a fan of, which I wonder if they were inspired by modders when making this, is the hair and the clothes all flow in the wind. Very much inspired by HDT physics.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. Well, are there any mods from the original Oblivion that you guys would like to see remastered?
If it's going to be easy to bring them over, Oblivion Original, as I'll call it, is still being... I saw today that there are hundreds of new mods being added just today. Obviously, that's probably partly from hype and things. There's no slowdown in the Oblivion modding community, which is really great to see. And it just means that now those people will have a chance to kind of polish up all those mods and republish them for Oblivion Remastered. One of the biggest things that I immediately saw, and I think that we all sort of agreed with this, is that despite the fact that the Imperial City is the most incredible and grandest city in all of Cyrodiil and all of Tamriel, it's pretty empty. And there's a lot of loading screens between them.
Oh,
and,
the loading screens.
There's two mods, one of which I've mentioned before in I think our yearly roundup, which is Open Imperial City, which means that there are no loading screens and you can travel freely through the Imperial City with no loading screens, which is sorely needed. And I was surprised that they didn't do, considering they've got more kind of horsepower here.
This is entirely speculation on my part, but I would imagine because they've kept the original data structure of Oblivion, those parts of the game are separate, and they've had to keep them separate to continue to use that old data. But that doesn't mean that we can't mod it back to being fully open. I too was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't just open the gates to the Imperial City and walk inside. But at least the load screens are quick.
Yeah, they are quick.
They are quick.
And the other thing is that it'd be nice to have more people for this city. There's hardly anyone there. But there's already, there's a big popular mod on Old Oblivion, which populates the cities a lot more.
Old Oblivion?
Old
Old Oblivion.
Oblivion, we're coining the term.
Old Oblivion. You heard it here first. Yeah, that's great. The other thing, obviously, people will be crying out for is Flavors of the Empire?
Of the whole. Yeah.
What would it be? We need some menus. We need some cutlery.
Yeah.
We need your mod.
Well, I don't know. I've not been into inns yet, so
Flavors of Kvatch.
Ooh, burnt. Everything's burnt.
For context, listeners, I have a mod called Flavors of the Hold that puts different food options into inns in Skyrim and cutlery and menus.
Talking of Kvatch and talking of, how hot it is there, because of the Oblivion Gates, which look incredible.
They do
I
look
was
incredible.
blown away by how good those Oblivion Gates look. They look insane. The only part I didn't like is that they're so impressive and they look so cool that it feels like you should be able to just like walk through them, but you can't. They're just like a 2D image of the Oblivion world within the gate, which means that when you walk up to it, you just kind of clip through it and you appear on the other side. It's not even like a wall. You can just walk through it, but it doesn't do anything.
They could have at least made it a wall.
It's really
It's not cool when you clip straight through it. Oh, there's a door on the other side.
Yeah, it's pretty. I know that's similar to the kind of. It's similar to how it was originally, but it's because it looks so impressive and it looks like you should just be able to walk up to it and then it hit kind of like a teleporter thing.
Your first trip through Oblivion as well has the same problem as the Imperial City, because as you go up the tower, you go through a bunch of different rooms and they all have loading screens. So you're loading screen into a side room, back into the main room.
And it makes it very complicated to remember where you are because you feel like you're constantly getting spun around. Because of the loading screens.
I wonder if they've left stuff in like that to make it feel like it is original Oblivion, Old Oblivion.
Well, we're going to mod it out just like original Oblivion.
I guess that's why it's a remaster and not a remake. They probably would have changed all that if they had remade it. Those are probably all quality of life changes that they would have done
Yeah.
if they were doing it from scratch, but they weren't. They were just...
Given how Creation Engine works, once modders have cracked how to actually place objects in the world, which is one of the things we're kind of struggling with from a reverse engineering point of view, I don't see any reason why walking through the Oblivion Gate, like walking into it, when you clip through, it just teleports you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've made mods that do things like that in Skyrim, and Oblivion has all the same basic tools to make that happen. So
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Oh,
Through
imagine
the
if you could
portal.
shoot through it.
That would be
Oh,
that would be insane.
that would be very cool. Or if you shot through the portal and then like a flaming arrow went into the door on behind it.
That would just be the coolest thing. And then you can make a mod where you can create your own Oblivion gates, like mini ones, and you make like little portals.
There you go. If you
That's
want
like
to
a whole new game,
if
though.
you want to get featured on our channel, make a mod that does that.
Makes
We'll be all
little
over
Oblivion
it.
portals that you can shoot arrows through. That would, you'd have to layer both game mods on top of each other the entire time. It would be
Oh.
hefty.
Hefty.
Anything else people are asking for?
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Obviously.
I can't believe we've not seen one yet. I mean, I don't know when this video comes out, we might have different mods up there, but at the moment, there is no Thomas the Tank Engine mod.
unofficially, we measure modding in the time to Thomas scale. So
Well, speaking of time to modding, how would you mod in Oblivion Remastered if you wanted to?
So a lot of that is still being picked apart by people a lot cleverer than I in the community. What we do know so far is that the underlying data of the original Oblivion game still exists and is still present. There's elements of it that use the original Creation Engine, which means that those parts of the game would potentially not take too much work to be adjusted to work with tools like Xedit. That's where some of the mods are starting to come from. But then we've got this Unreal Engine 5 layer, which is the pretty bit, the gloss, the rendering of the scenes, the physics, objects, animations, that kind of stuff. And that's still very much an unknown. Although before I'd even got to 25% downloaded, some of the community members had already cracked open the whole executable and were pulling it to bits. So I imagine it will only be a matter of time before we have Thomas-ready modding.
Oh, fantastic. Can't wait.
Do you know what I had a problem with? So the first thing that I did when I got out of the sewers was go to sell all of the stuff that I've picked up, right? So I went to the market district of the Imperial City and I couldn't find, I know this is probably me being a newbie to Oblivion, but I couldn't immediately find like a general goods person. All of the shops are like separated.
Yeah.
I wish there was just one person maybe in the street that I could go, have all of my stuff. And then I
Oh,
could
like
leave.
Just like a,
Vendor
like a
thing.
junk monger
Yeah.
who's just
it
there
was
to
just
take all
way
the
too
stuff.
organised. I'm used to just Skyrim being like, you know, like the Whiterun Market and
Right,
stuff,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So that's what I'd like.
But that's not what real life's like.
I know.
You can't just go to, you know, your local greengrocer and say, here's my Xbox, buy it from me.
That's the dream.
I hope, though, you didn't sell your wrist chains. Did you sell your wrist chains?
No, we kept them as an
Good,
accessory.
good. Because they're the only accessory in the game that fills that slot, and it's the only one that can be enchanted and doesn't
Wow.
add any armor weight. So it's vital so that you don't get rid of it.
Shit.
It also reminds you
Oh,
of your.
no.
It also reminds you of your humble beginnings.
Yeah.
You know, you go from a prisoner who is effectively nothing to the hero of Kovac.
Some people don't like that you start off as a prisoner because they feel like it's like affects your, you know, how cool you are type thing. So there's a mod for Oblivion called Alternate Start. You arrive by ship and you get to like kind of say who you are and how much money you have.
Nice.
And I think that kind of mod makes sense, especially for an Oblivion remake, because people have already done the prison start. So yeah, I think that's one that just makes sense.
Veteran Oblivion players definitely going to want to skip that tutorial.
Yeah.
If you can just pick all your birth signs and your classes, and I can see that being a massive
I've done it
mod.
twice already, and it's been out for less than 24 hours, and I've already done it enough times. So.
There is already one mod out called Better Start Characters, which basically are save files that allow you to start from when you're just exiting the prison. So that's a good fix in the meantime.
I look back at what my first mod was downloaded on Nexus Mods, seeing as though I started with Oblivion. It is a massive, large-scale mod that adds 3 new worlds to Oblivion.
Your first mod.
Yeah, apparently so. I probably saw a YouTube video or something and was like, that looks cool, I want to add that to my Oblivion. But I'm really excited to see kind of new lands mods in this new art style with the kind of Unreal Engine graphics on it, and just seeing how far these things can be taken. I mean, we've obviously talked a little bit about Skyblivion. We know that there will be new area mods, expansion mods and things. And I'm excited to see ones that have been brought over or ones that are completely brand new. It'd be really exciting to see kind of the big scale mods, not just the kind of smaller quality of life ones as well.
Obviously, those mods are amazing. One of the key factors in those mods being even possible, though, would be having the construction set or the new version of the construction set for the remaster. Virtuous and Bethesda are keeping very quiet on that. They have a post on their website that says they won't support modded games, but that's pretty standard. That doesn't necessarily mean there won't be mods.
Just means don't talk to them about it.
Exactly. If you break your game with mods installed, they'll just tell you to go away.
Yeah.
I feel that it would be a missed opportunity for them not to have a construction set here. On the Xbox store, the Oblivion remake is listed as contains in-app purchases. However, the DLC is bought outside the game, and Microsoft's requirement, so I'm told, is that you have to list that if you buy things in the game. So that is implying that Bethesda's mod store might come to the game, and if it comes to the game, then there's got to be a creation kit to make those things.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take before a creation kit usually drops? And what's our usual timeline for anyone who's excited to mod this?
So there was a pattern to it up until Starfield. Prior to Starfield, it was kind of doubling with every release. Like Morrowind, it was kind of around 3 months. Oblivion, it was more like 6. Skyrim, it was pretty much a year. But then Starfield was slightly different, probably because they introduced the paid mod store and stuff like that as part of the update. We're going to reach out to Virtuous and Bethesda to see if they can give us any clues. But I'd like to think within the first 12 months, because the hype for this game, like, it is just Oblivion.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long the hype train is going to keep up, and mods kind of need to be relevant towards the end of that. Otherwise, no one's going to be playing it when the tools come out.
So that's Oblivion Remastered, and as you can see, we're all very excited. We're going to go and play some more, I think, and you're probably going to do the same. Got the weekend coming up. Give me a lot of Oblivion Remastered. Now, if you want to mod it and play it yourself, head over to nexusmods.com, where we've already got loads of mods for Oblivion Remastered. And if you want to find out any updates on the modding scene, modding community, or just get involved, then head over to our Discord or our forums, or just leave us a comment or join us on socials. See you around.
Bye.
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 Are there sheep in Oblivion?
Yes, I think so.
Wait, there are sheep in Skyrim. I don't know what I'm on about. Cut that out, Tristan. That was bullshit.